Hello everyone, I'm Chris Mozillo, fucking Scalperson, and today I'll be asking the question, is the Wii U the best console ever made? No. Okay, so clickbait title aside and ignoring the fact that the PS2 is the best console ever made, I recently acquired a Wii U. It's something I never really had any, major efforts to do. So, how does it fare as an actual console? Well, let's find out. Star wipe into myself. So I think it's safe to say that the Wii U is not doing outstandingly well when it comes to sales. As of September last year, as they're the only figures I could find, the Wii U has only been sold 7.29 million times worldwide, and it's been released for over 2 years now. If you compare this to the Xbone and PS4, which have been out for half the time, they have double the sales each. Why is this? Well, I obviously have a bunch of theories, which I'll probably ramble about for the remainder of this video. But let's start with the console itself. So remember with how the Wii U, you spent 50 kidneys worth of money on making sure you had all the fucking peripherals needed to play the games. Because apparently, a fucking controller was too good for Nintendo. Well, now you get to enjoy not using them as the main input has been replaced by this. A controller of sorts. But this one has a touchscreen on it, for game developers to not really know what to do with. Touch. From what I've seen, it mostly functions like the touchscreen on a DS, 3DS or 2DS, or new 3DS, DS Lite, DSi, except this time the distance between the two screens is at a point where it's really inconvenient to have to look down at your crotch to check something. Or you could hold it upright and in front of you. Ha 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 ha, but no one does that. It also has the ability to do this. What? Where'd it go? Oh, now you can play your Wii U games with only one screen on the fly, as long as it's in the same room as the console already, because the range is a little limiting. So that's good. Probably. So you're starting to see how making games for this console can be difficult. You've got two screens to work with, but then also you don't have two screens to work with, as it's got to be capable of playing on just the gamepad screen if you want to. It supports motion controls as well, so there's always the idea of bringing back all the stuff from the Wii. Too many control schemes for one system. Nintendo seem pretty adamant on reinventing the wheel with every console they make, which while I can't fault them for wanting to do new things, is getting out of hand and feels like innovation for the sake of innovation. Motion controls seem like a somewhat logical step, as now I can actually pretend to swing a sword around my room for a reason, instead of swinging a sword around my room for no reason. However, this isn't the biggest issue for the Wii U. Sure, it's a fucking nightmare if you want to actually develop on it, but the biggest issue for the Wii U is branding. Yes, the name. Wii U. It's almost like Wii 2 to suggest it's a sequel console, but not quite enough to dissociate from the Wii. Is it just another add-on for the Wii? Well, no, but the fuck would I know when it's mainly advertised as just the gamepad itself. This is a big issue for Nintendo in general when you look at their handhelds as well. You've got the Nintendo DS, which then had the DS Lite, then the DSi, then the DSi XL, but they were all on one generation. But now there's a 3DS, but is that just another DS or something different? But then there's also the 3DS XL. Okay, so it's bigger, but what's this 2DS thing? I thought the 3 made it the sequel console. Wait, what's this new 3DS? Is that a new console? PlayStation, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4. Short, sweet and to the point. There's not much flopping around here. Even the Xbox sort of handles this well, except Xbox One could easily be mistaken for a phrase meaning the original Xbox. Regardless, this is not how you'd name things for clarity. However, this doesn't mean that the Wii U is bad. It's pretty good. I'd argue Nintendo and the Nintendo consoles are some of the funnest games I've played within the last few years, excluding PC. In a world where Ubisoft releases the same game 3 times a year and games just feel so fucking boring, the breath of fresh air seen in Nintendo consoles is nice. Well, I mean, I say breath of fresh air. Sure, it's still just Mario Kart, Smash Bros, Legend of Zelda. Sure, okay, yeah, they're all more or less the same game, but at least it's 1 or 2 per console generation to have a nice, unique, refined feel, right? Maybe? The Wii U and the 3DS still feel like they're focused on you fucking playing games. They're consoles for games. They're not trying to force all this TV nonsense down your throat, and it sort of doesn't feel like everything is crippled with horrible DLC practices. I mean, they've only just properly started online distribution and DLC content, and it'd be great if they could just distribute a lot of Wii games via the eShop, because I'm not paying like £50 for the obscure games that seemingly only had 10 copies made. The idea of amiibos is great in my opinion, as they're sort of like the cosmetic DLC that really has fuck all impact on the game, but they work on like all your games. You can touch, you can play, there's life in plastic, it's fantastic. But you know, I'm only gonna buy one. Just the one. Plus it gives you an excuse to have a Wii Fit Trainer statue in your room, right? You filth fucks! There's a potential argument also about how the last generation of consoles saw the largest number of consoles ever. While nothing got close to the PS2 in figures, cumulatively the last generation saw a massive intake, especially on the Wii, which even spawned the whole filthy casuals mentality in gaming. Now that there's new stuff, one would assume that the average person thinks that they've already got the Wii and have a blast doing the sports and the fit. So why do they need a new one, right? The Xbox and PlayStation have that whole FIFA, COD and Ass-Creed crowd to them going, but a lot of the newly installed user base for the Wii won't be super interested about the new Mario game, new Zelda or Bayonetta 2. They're just everyday normal people who just enjoy a bit of Wii sports, you know? Honestly, for the next console that Nintendo release, I feel like they should just release a nice, simple console with a decent controller and a great set of fun games. Heck, there's a fair handful of decent games on the Wii U, but little to no third-party development going on. Look, just remake the GameCube, but stronger. There's a reason everyone still wants GameCube controller adapters, and it's not just nostalgia. So yeah, I mean, like, the Wii U's a fairly decent console, you know, but ultimately suffers from just being a bit too weird. Hopefully Nintendo have learned from this, and as long as they don't try anything a little too crazy for their next console, you know, it should be quite good. You know, as long as they don't do something so crazy and obtuse as pairing with a company that specialises in making like oddly shaped screens that would ultimately lead to development for this like next console to be incredibly difficult and confusing. It should be perfectly fine, so long as they don't do that. Hello, and thank you for watching my video that you've literally just seen. If you liked it, make sure you make me know so by liking it or even telling me what you specifically liked about it in the comment section, of course. If you have any thoughts on it, whether it be hates, just interesting ideas, you know, discuss. Also, the comment section. I'm gonna go pass out now because I've not slept for days. Bye. Okay, so clickbait title aside, and aside the fact PS2 is the best console ever made, I recently acquired a As of September last year, as they're the only figures I could find, the Wii U has only sold 7.29 million times. Blah, 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 blah. You've got 2 screens to work with, but then at the same my voice. No, mate. Which while I can't fault them for wanting to do the new things, there's a potential argument also about how the last generation consoles, fuck's sake,